Okay, when you hear recording in progress, don't speak. If you laugh, laugh in a way that disguises your identity and don't walk in front of the camera. Privacy laws. Then I think go too far. On the other hand, privacy is important and maybe they don't even go far enough. But I don't get to make those decisions. Probably good for everybody if I don't. Okay, now we've been going over the syllabus. I've made some really profound comments and to record, so I apologize for that. But we're going to go on. They were talking about the prerequisite knowledge you need. You need to have some calculus. You need to have some mathematical sophistication. Hopefully, you have a fairly good idea of geometry. Okay. And since I'm just talking, top of my head's cut off here, which is probably fortunate, but at least this way get to see where my hair stands. Okay. Okay, that's talking about the need to be able to distinguish various types of functions you get through calculus and learn to manipulate in calculus. With knowledge of triangle and circular model trigonometry and trigonometric functions. I said trigonometric functions like sine, cosine graphs, and graphs of the tangent. There it is. Aren't particularly important to late first semester and in the second semester. But right angle trigonometry is non-right triangles, have some applications second semester. But not a lot. That's what we do right triangles. Okay. Vectors, I said that. Hopefully you might have some pretty good familiarity with vectors, know how to add and subtract and both of them, dot products, maybe even cross products. But we'll introduce that. That's going to be in a chapter. Okay. So if you don't know it, you get yourself up to speed at that point. Circular model trigonometry is one that people almost never know. And it's relevant right from the very beginning, including today. I'm going to do something. Take basic integral calculus, differential calculus, and actually officially, Math 173 is the only prerequisite for this. 174 is a prerequisite for the next course. But we're still going to talk about some very basic integration. Okay. I can integrate problem, just like how you read this. And everybody, I think, 10 173 probably have 174. And you know that. And if you don't know it, it's still really easy if you know the equations. You're not going to get into integration by substitution, integration by parts and stuff like that. Until maybe sometimes in second semester. Okay. Calculation of rates of change. The whole idea of rate of change. Is rate of change important in calculus? And if you don't know that, you didn't learn calculus. So we'll fill those holes in for you. Okay. Why is the derivative rate of change? How's that important? We're going to get that right in your first week. And try to clarify that. Okay. Because most people are pretty vague on the real meaning of calculus. You know how to find the average value of the function. Everybody can find the average value of the function. Probably not. One of the most important concepts of calculus. Okay, but people come out of calculus, including my courses where I emphasize it, including other people's courses, and teach it at least as well as I would. And goes somewhere. Okay, doesn't get locked in. So we'll lock it in. It's not difficult. You just take the integral, divide by the length of the interval. Well, that's the definition. Why is that the definition? Is there a picture you can use to do that? Well, there's simple pictures. Okay. You don't see those pictures because pictures are actually more important than the operations in some cases. Pictures are not big. Okay. Got a statement down at the bottom, you don't want the mathematics to get in the way of learning physics. At least a moderate degree of mathematical sophistication tends to be, I said, very beneficial. Almost said necessary, but very particular. Okay, now there are areas, get to the second page, where everything's blue. Didn't look that way. Incidentally, I did all this in HTML editor. And our printer apparently has no respect for HTML editors. This right side of some things is cut off, the bottom of the page is sometimes cut off. But most of it's here, and this is all online, okay? So you can always read it. So here's a list of things. I'm not gonna read it to you. A lot of it won't make any sense to you until we get to it, okay? But, you know, take a look at these topics every once in a while. They kind of match up with typical traffic patterns. Take a look at it every once in a while and see where you are and what you understand. Now we got course objectives. And again, I'm not going to read those to you because most of them aren't going to make sense, except measurement units and vectors. Okay, that's kind of where we start. It says define base physical quantity. Somebody is base, that usually means they're not much good. Okay, so this would say define physical quantities aren't much good. This is by the system office. And I guys took this right off of the BCCS webpage. And I probably ought to correct them. That should be great. If that was not, I'm sure I've got equally valid stuff that, you know, before you publish it as part of your official course description, maybe people ought to read it a little more carefully. Okay. Makes me feel a little better, but not all the mistakes I make. All right, well, anyhow, it should be basic. And what's happening? Well, we're going to start dealing with that today. So, and then all the rest of this stuff will make more sense to you within an hour. So maybe adding vectors. That'll become clear to you in a week or so. Okay. And then motion in 1 and 2 dimensions, Newton's laws, working energy, impulse momentum, angular momentum, simple harmonic motion fluids, thermodynamics. So that's on the side. Simple course. Okay. Yeah, I think I got the topics for you. Some base person doesn't know the difference between base and basic. Not really. It's really easy to make that kind of a typo. And I'm sure that's true. So right there's a list of topics that I'm not going to agree to you. We'll see more about how we use laboratory experience. We're actually going to do a lab exercise today, if I ever get through this. This should not be this mastering physics stuff. Okay. Does anybody purchase mastering physics? Good, no, I'm not using it. Now this is out of order. I thought I edited this and corrected it yesterday before I printed it, but apparently not. Don't use artificial intelligence inappropriately. Engage with material, don't let artificial intelligence. Okay. That's a no-brainer. That's how you don't learn. So let somebody else do your homework and then come in and hoping you pass a test. It's not going to happen. And you got IQ over about 160 maybe. Okay. That's Einstein. Now, below all that stuff on the fourth page, below all the stuff, artificial intelligence, you got the statement, the course will be conducted by combination of asynchronous and synchronous activities. Okay. Now we'll talk just a little bit about what I mean by asynchronous activities in this course. Most asynchronous stuff will be lab related. Okay. There'll be times when I give you a handful of rubber bands and tell you to go home and do an experiment. Okay. Because lab is going to meet on alternate Friday generally. Okay. We can have some flexibility in that. And we need to decide on time on those alternate Fridays and decide which alternate Fridays will be. We'll discuss that in a little bit. But that doesn't get all the hours that you would normally spend in the lab. Okay. So there's some stuff that can be done with just string and sticky tape. They'll ask you to explore off, well, outside of class. Okay, so you don't have to come to the lab every week. Okay. So that's going to work better with your work schedule, and it works fine as far as the rest of the questions. We still get most of the hours. Okay. Homework's due prior to each class meeting. It's going to be written, handwritten homework. Okay. I'm going to ask you to do it in a dedicated notebook, separate from your dedicated lab notebook. Two notebooks. You already got that? And you don't put anything else in them, and you made everything. Okay. It's going to be very valuable to you when you get to the end of the semester. You bring them to class with your homework in them. So, sometimes you'll have a question about something. Okay. Hit it's a weekend or whatever. Hit a scanner app on your phone if you don't have one already. You don't have a phone with that scanner in the library. Although, so maybe on Saturdays, they're not going to be available to you on weekends. But you can scan or send me a PDF if necessary. Not a PDF, tape. I like PDFs better, so I can, you know, when you're right release file. I'm not going to resize it to a file. I don't have to read it. Yeah. I'm to jump through hoops and make things. But, okay. But send me good quality tape. Good enough to see. Can do that. Put it into a PDF. It's much better to resize it. Okay. So if something isn't as clear as you think it is, I can zoom in on it. I can easily do those things. So, you know, if you got a question, you can send me a picture of what you're doing, or you can write down in words, whatever's easier for you. What's your problem? Okay. Send me a picture, tell me, or write it on the paper, what your question. Where are you running into problems? So I can focus my response on what you're doing, what you need to hear. Does that make sense? Fairly simple. The thing you find is if you do that, 50% of the time, as soon as you've articulated it by putting it into words, you say, oh, duh, and you know. Okay? Not that I mind answering, but that's much better for you. You learn better. You retain it better. It also helps build your confidence, which is important. Okay. Okay, let's see. Homework, handwritten, all the steps and reasoning. Okay. I'll keep reminding you about that until we start doing this. All right. And hopefully start doing it for the weekend. Yeah, there might be times when I require you to send me a scan or video. Broad goals of the course. Well, you can read them. I mean, meaning of velocity, acceleration, force, work, energy, momentum, angular momentum, thermal energy. rotation of motion of rigid bodies, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of that's not going to make sense to you, so you're not going to read it all. As we cover it, you go back to these lists and look, okay, now I know what that means. And you can say, oh man, yeah, pretty good idea. 2/3 of this, we're only a third of the way through the course. Okay. Again, makes you feel good to understand some of these things. And that's not important. And again, okay, you get down to the general education goal. You become proficient with written communication, with scientific concepts and procedures, and with the scientific method in practice. Okay. Guess what that means as we go on. Here it is officially. And I need you to make some progress with that if you're not already doing that. Now, there are specific objectives that are not included in this print edition. I didn't want to kill trees with much of objectives that aren't going to make sense to me, but they're on the online syllabus. So check that out. I recommend, I think I say it here, read through the objectives every week or two. Again, to give yourself a sense of perspective and progress. It's important. You're not going to want to do it because you. How many of you are in the engineering curriculum? Right? I know if you're in the engineering curriculum, you're going to be slammed. It's hard to make yourself do some of the stuff that you really ought to do. Okay? You figure out the priorities or take my advice whenever you can. Text is online. Now the text. It's the OpenStax Physics 1 text. Familiar with OpenStax? If you're not, type in OpenStax in the address box of your computer or in Google search or in whatever search you have, and it'll lead you to it. Okay. And it's very obvious how to navigate the text. Okay. If you have trouble doing that, email me, I'll just send you a direct link. I'm not going to bother because I want you to navigate. But if you can't, I don't want you to have to beat your head against the wall for an hour. Email me. So you won't need the text right away, but send. Oh, I say mastering physics here again. I was given unrealistic amount of work to do last week, and I got it all done except my editing. Predictably, it's not accompanied by mastering physics. Okay. Anything you see about mastering physics, I'm abandoning mastering physics because I didn't find it to be an effective tool. I used it for and it's unfortunate because, you know, when I look at it, it looks pretty good, but in practice, I just don't find it works well. I said a link to the OpenStax to be provided through Canvas. I'm not sure that's true at this point, but I'll make it through later. Okay, but still, just search OpenStax. One of those details that slips through the cracks. Okay, talk about what's going to be covered. Well, it's just chapter headings. Okay. Read the words. Now, when I said chapter 12 includes chapter 15 through 17, what is that? Those chapter numbers don't correspond to the OpenStax text. That's the young text. I love the young text, the one that you get with mastering physics, but it's really expensive. Another thing about the OpenStax text, within the first week or so, you can decide whether you want something you want to get a physical copy of the book. Okay, I just talked about online text. You can get a version. We talked a little bit about that. Instructional methods, we might at times have to go online, like the college is closed, there's some kind of disaster, or some other interruption, but I'm equipped to do that from home. as long as whatever the disaster is doesn't destroy my internet connection. I had here, this is learned through experimentation and problems. You get your hands on something, make sense out of it, and you relate that. Text is telling you and what the problems are asking you. Okay, a lot of problems in this course will be related to stuff that we do in lab. Labs are sent from the course as is problem solving. And there's a substantial amount of homework expected. 15 to 20 problems every week of intermediate difficulty. Okay. Yeah, there are also elementary problems in every chapter. I don't teach to the level of the elementary problems, so sometimes it's good to do some. Get used to the relationships. Also, problem solving involves understanding and engaging with the ideas, not searching for formula solutions. Okay. And too many people rely too much on formulas. And a couple of formulas, I understand what it uses wrong, and I don't feed it into you really hard. It don't make any sense at all. It has the right letters in it, so you use it, and yeah, it's an automatic zero on that question. Okay, you know what I'm at. Grading policy, major quiz, midterm exam, final exam. Final exams weighted as 2 tests. I expect y'all to have the mathematical sophistication to understand the weighting. I don't do points, I don't do percentages. Okay, partly because there's some wiggle room there. Lab average 20%. Right. Now I've got 4 tests. Now that's for physics 2. Okay. You'll see here that the major quiz for physics 1 only, the weight is 0.5 or 1.0. Okay. Depending on whether that's to your advantage or not. There's another thing that I often do. Oh yeah, there it is. You can ignore the stuff about physics 2 for now, and that might change before we get to physics 2. So just kind of don't worry about that. Final exam, the weight could be 1.0 or 2.0. Okay, depending which is to your advantage. Participation problems, daily quizzes and questions, weight 1.0. You'll have a daily quiz based on the homework, recent homework. Okay. And I'll also be looking at the homework in your notebook as you're doing that quiz. I'll circulate around. So I'll check that, see if I see anything that we need to address in class. Okay. Also, you know, if I see people whose homework is picture perfect and meticulous, showing all steps just the way ChatGPT would do it, and you can't do the quiz, it asks you almost an equivalent problem. I'm going to address the class. I won't call you out individually. I'll just say, you know, some people are screwing up here. Okay, this is the way to ensure that you don't do as well as you could. Okay. Don't give me ChatGPT. Officially, that's plagiarism. It isn't fine in there. I could nail you for it. I'm not going to because you're nailing yourself. Okay. They just don't do it. Engage with the material. If you're not getting it, make sure I know you're not getting it. Make sure you get it written out in such a way that I can see pretty well what it is you're not getting, so I can say things in class and maybe you could maybe let you know it all. So let's get me straight. Okay. Make sense? Okay, if you email me from your BCCS account. Never, ever, 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 ever email me from your Canvas account. Now, some of you are gonna do that anyway, and I'll just remind you. Okay, it's not like it's the end of the world, but if you send me attachments in the Canvas account, I'm not gonna see them. Because I have to jump through too many hoops to do it. First time, yeah, if it's something I think is really important, I'll probably jump through those hoops. But I ain't gonna jump through those hoops the second time. I'm just saying, hey, resend this through your BCCS email so I can do something with it. This Canvas email is an atrocity. I can't sort it, I can't search it. And it does a lot of what it does. Again, privacy, you can get plenty of privacy through BCC. And VHCC account, you send me an attachment, I can open it immediately. And then do all the things that Canvas doesn't. Okay, regular class attendance, yeah, that's required. It's not like I have any percent of the grade attendance, except that's part of your participation grades. Attendance is way down. The participation grade. So, something like that. Okay. But yeah, sometimes you got a really good reason for not being here, like you said. Okay. So yeah, let me know if you're not here. You know why. Videos will always be posted. Okay. So you can always do the class. Go in class, I'll explain something, and I'll give you just some other thing to work on. Circulate around, see if you get it. Okay. If you miss class and you're doing this by the video, do it exactly as if you're in class. Don't pause the video when I say, okay, don't do this. Don't look forward. Don't look at what I tell you after I say do this until you've done it. You're not going to learn much. You might well learn something. And if you're really, really pressed for time, maybe you don't ignore me on that. And you decide whether that's a good thing to do or not. Sometimes it is. You get the house is burning down right now. You don't have time to do this, so you're going to hurry through the video. Then you're going to look for the fire extinguisher. No, get the fire extinguisher right away, or get the heck out of the house. Okay. Save yourself. Save your people. Academic integrity. Do your own work. There are no exceptions. This is college policy. Okay. Again, I don't directly analyze this, except like if I ask you to do some sort of project and your project looks just like somebody else's. One of you ain't getting credit, maybe neither of you. Okay. That's where that could come in. Or lab reports. Your lab report looks just like somebody else's, has the same mistakes, same words. Can't disguise it, I can tell. All right. There's a list of things that constitute lack of academic integrity. Don't lack academic integrity. Biggest reason is you don't do as much as you do that. And the other reason is it's unfair to everybody else. Okay, now we'll get into the generic stuff. There's college-wide emergency, there are numbers and websites and stuff like that. Okay. Let's see them here. Have any question on it? Okay. But I'm not going to try to walk it through. You know how to dial. Okay. So if you have that number, you can do that. If that doesn't work, try an air horn. Okay, VHCC deadlines. I've got winter deadlines here. That's one thing that I didn't edit any of it. So so I got to fix that. And if you haven't done some substantive work by the administrative withdrawal date, get 5 days with you. Then I can let you back in if you show me that you've tried. Okay. Actually, sometimes it's more than 5 days, but got to initiate the conversation. Now, I've got the full college calendar here. So read it. Last day to pay tuition is May. Last day to have a class is Friday. Labor Day is week from tonight. Not having class. Last day to drop a class is Wednesday, September blank, because again, September doesn't expect dates to know. But it's September 11th, I'm going to read it online. This all online. Access it through the syllabus link and campus. Faculty Research Day on October 15th. Class. The last day to withdraw without academic penalty is October 30th. Now, withdraw or are withdrawn for the 11th. It never happened. There's no anything on your transcript. Get your refund. Okay. If you withdraw after that date, before the withdrawal date on the 30th, then you get a W. Okay. Which might or might not be a bad thing. It's not a good thing. How bad it is depends on the situation. It's not too bad. But it's something you want to bring. Then the ones before Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving Day and that Friday, those 3 days, we don't need to have a 5-day weekend. Classes end on Friday the 6th, exams the next week. Okay. Now, most of you came in here, didn't have mental health issues. You probably have to listen to me for 45 minutes. You do. And if you do, you go see anybody in this hall behind us here, they'll tell you, if they're not the right person to talk to, they'll tell you who to talk to. Okay, but it's going to be the second office from the left, Karen. Okay. That's all handled confidentially. There are arrangements with the mental health thing for this county, for whom my daughter has worked for many years, and I still know the name of the place. Okay, but it's a good place. She works for people. As soon as she passes the board, she'll go into practice psychiatry. But it would be very important. I don't even know. Okay. So, your questions? If so, keep your mouth shut. Talk to me. Okay. So now you've got a series of tick marks and check marks. Each tick mark is a unit of time. Okay. And you got like about 8 seconds between tick marks. Different people were observing at different times. And we want to put all that together in the data. Well, it means everybody had better, everybody's going to need to report their data. So maybe a typical Okay, how do we interpret this data? Let's talk about it for a minute. Okay, well, you can say observation one. Number of marks, 3. Observation 2, 3 marks. Observation 3, 2 marks. 2. Now there's a 3 and there's a 2. Is that possible? Well, just like my time walking out and walking back into the room overlapped by some unknown amount, the 28 to 29 minute mark. That came in somewhat just after the 31-minute mark. How close to 2 minutes was that? Okay. There's kind of a relationship there. You might just think along those terms. But let's just go on. So we get to, and we get 1, 1, 1, 1, and so forth. And eventually, you're going to have a time when you get 2 marks, so you would have a blank. You'd have 0. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. So what we've done is, where am I? Okay. Oh, wasn't seeing myself right now. There we go. Yeah, what we've done is just, we've measured motion. Okay. And from the motion we've measured, we can make estimates of velocity and acceleration, whatever those things are. Well, velocity is how fast it's moving, right? Like how many degrees per second. Okay. Acceleration, well, that's how quickly velocity changes. We'll talk about that next time. I will email you a compilation of this data. I'll probably compile it here in just a minute. Email it out. If you don't get that email by the end of the afternoon, email me. Because I'm going to want you then to put it all together. Okay. And answer some questions. Well, I'm just going to ask some questions. But some based on your data, some based on what we can infer from everybody's data. Okay. It's fairly simple stuff, but will make you think a little bit. And not everybody will think the same way everybody else does. We'll sort it out next time. Also, I'm going to want you to access the OpenStax text and scan the first one. I'll put that in the email. Okay. There's also an assignments page, which if you've been to Canvas, you'll see. And you also are supposed to enroll in a MyOpenMath course, which I'll use to post the page. Fair enough? So make sure you do those things. In other words, what it says to do in Canvas, do it. Mostly in the welcome announcement and the getting started announcement. Okay.